Do you think as a band you have the chance to move something in people's mind, to make them think or at least get a message across?
Well, it's not like a real conscious goal of ours or something that we prepared to do. It's just like it just emulates the personalities that we have, you know. We've always been conscious of political things as much as our, you know, mental capacity can hold, and
we've just been aware of things, and it just kind of surfaces, it comes out just because that's what happens. I mean, we don't have like this angle that we're like a political band or anything.
We've always tried really hard to not put out too much of an image of being too politically conscious, you know, so it gets in the way of the music, because you know, that's more important.
And I think too, like in this country, that people are so apathetic and they're so unconscious in front of their TV sets, and somebody like us who has somewhat awareness, it makes it look like we're really aware. We're not. I mean, you know what I mean? This is just things we're concerned about, and we just talk about them, you know? Just because we talk about them at home, or we talk about it with friends, we just happen to talk about things in interviews.
Have you already made the experience that groups like political or other social groups tried to use you, or the success you have with the name?
No, I wouldn't say they've used us. We've had a few offers from some political organizations, like the FAIR organization, who has been working for years to expose a lot of injustices and to try to promote real truths in a lot of things that have happened politically. You know, it's like an underground leftist organization that tries to expose the truths, and you know, and they're totally masked over by USA Today and magazines like that. You know, right-wing owned magazines that a lot of time the truth and the details of a story aren't ever reported, and that's what this organization does. So they came to us, and of course we're going to, you know, want to do something with them to help them out, because I wouldn't say anyone's tried to take advantage of us in that way at all.
FAIR is an acronym for fairness and accuracy in reporting. And I think I've been really conscious of what's been going on in the media, with, you know, being part of the media, you know, and then I just look at the way the press responds, like, you know, being all over the president, or being all over Waco, Texas, or Amy Fisher. You know, it's really interesting. There's a lot of bozos out there who just they form public opinion. You know, people really don't think for themselves, and they have a big responsibility, so they're just basically exploiting it. And there's this group here that just is into like truth, reality.
Yeah, that leads me to
just like these bad demagoguery politicians manipulating people and spreading their lies for their own personal gain, you know. Former ex-communists, or ex-communists, or like former ex-communists. I can't get into it today. My brain is weak. Help people out, you know. That's just putting band-aids on the situation until they dispose of the regimes over there.
Right.
There's not going to be any change, you know. They don't even recognize the Serbian opposition. The guy's languishing in prison. They beat the hell out of him. They don't even help the guy out, you know. There were elections in Serbia. The guy Milan Panic, it was a sham election, and nobody did anything about it, you know.
Okay, I'm back.
okay.
Where were we? Rock and roll.
After all the experience you've made with media all over the world, do you still believe what you read or see on television?
Never.
I never did before, but I don't believe even more now. I know that I don't even have the right. It's the only thing I've learned. I don't have the right to make an opinion on anything that I read or see on television until I go to the fucking source myself, personally. My attitude has changed so much within the last couple of years, mainly just because of the crap that's been written about us, that I don't even I don't even find myself like having very many opinions on bands anymore, or putting them down, or you know, going out of my way to have any kind of expression about them at all because I don't know these people. You know, Bon Jovi could be one of the nicest people in the world. His music sucks, but you know, I don't even want to bother with even expressing those kind of opinions anymore because I know that there are people, you know, probably in this town right now talking about us, you know. So I heard that Chris Novoselic, you know, blah, blah, blah.
With his dog.
With his grandmother's dog. And it has AIDS.
Which is not true, by the way.
I'm just wondering, does that sometimes affect your private life too? I mean, your friends or your family are reading the stories about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird to talk with your wife's great-grandparents and they bring up something like that. You're just like, man, that's not true at all. Then you have to explain to them how people have different agendas. Each writer has their own perspective, and maybe the magazine editor has an agenda, you know what I mean? And you're at their mercy, basically. So all you can do is be as honest as possible, put on a happy face, roll with the punches.
I mean, frankly, what surprised me, even though I'm working in the media, there were certain magazines where I thought, okay, whatever they print is at least well researched, like Newsweek in America or Spiegel in Germany. I found it quite confusing that even though they made up stories.
Oh yeah,
I was surprised about Newsweek. I thought they were.
I'm
just
not surprised at all.
Caliber, you know.
No magazine has any ethics at all. There isn't any magazine
mainstream
that would,
magazine.
Yeah, a mainstream magazine that would ever, you know, stop a good story. You know, they want to sell magazines. They're in the entertainment business.
Yeah, that's
and
that's
they use
the point.
you know,
but
they use politics as some kind of fucking fake tool to sell their magazines.
Right.
But in this case, I thought this is a sort of magazine who have to lose a real reputation as well.
I think we're going to have to get David Gergen.
There is no one that is challenging these magazines, though. You know, there are no protection laws against, you know, false things that are written about celebrities. You know, libel suits are a complete farce. You know, you basically, a libel suit is just a challenge between two people that have a lot of money, you know, and whoever has the most money will win it, you know. And if you go up against Condé Nast or some major corporation that owns a whole bunch of magazines and owns this one magazine that wrote shit about you, they'll just filibuster for years and you'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in challenging them and you'll end up losing. So there's really, you can't even get to that first stage of even filing for a libel suit. It's a waste of time.
It's pretty wild, like all the relationships between people and bands and labels and between magazines and all that stuff, you know. You have someone like Bill Clinton had a bad time, so he hired David Gergen, who started throwing parties for the press corps and started smoothing people over because he had relationships. And what do you know? Good news coming out of Washington for Clinton, you know.
Yeah,
It's this manufactured perception. It's just like, it's not real. It's all just a charade, you know. And the bottom line is Stoli vodka ads on the back, full-page Stoli vodka ads on the back page, or Marlboro Man ads. You know, they just get that money, and everything in between isn't really that important. Television, same way. So we're going to start our own magazine. It's going to be called the Nerve-Wracker.
Nerve-Wracker.
Yeah.
It's a good name, anyway.
We're going to character assassinations left and right. We're going to schmooze it up with people. Whoever greases our palm the most is going to get a full cover story. You know what I mean? Step one, take the guys out for dinner. I'll have lobster, thank you. Step two,
get me in the show for free.
Yeah, get me in the show for free. Step three, well, I got this niece. She needs a new. I want to get her a Mustang car. Done. You're on the cover of Nerve-Wracker.
By the way,
Unscrupulous magazine. Go ahead.
How serious do you take all these cliches and standards of the business and the roles people play?
Oh, well, I just think of like the wrestling industry, like WWF, World whatever Federation Wrestling, and there's like Hulk Hogan and all those Rowdy Piper. And can you imagine all the politics going on in there? You know, well, he's going to win this match, but see, he has to lose this match, and well, they're going to be on this TV show. And it's just like, wow, all the drama, all the egos, personalities, the World Federation Wrestling. It's like, get me out of here.
Yeah. Getting back to the record, is it incidentally that the opening track of the intro of Rape Me sounds a bit like some part in Nevermind?
What part in Nevermind?
Smells like Teen Spirit. I read the question.
I was just trying to remember that.
Yes.
So, what was a hit song off the second Knack
It's an
record?
obvious inside joke.
If you play the hit song off the second Knack record, it sounds like My Sharona. If you play it backwards, it sounds like My Sharona.
Really?
So that's what we were doing.
Shit.
But you should. I recommend playing In Utero backwards, and that's. Ooh, I let it slip. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. There's all kinds of Kurt is dead stuff. You know. Total devil worship of the worst kind. Altars, virgin.
Now some
naked.
white trash mothers are going to sue us after they beat their children for a few years and neglect them, and then they kill themselves and blame it on us.
And
That's
they
right.
blow their faces off.
I
and
gave
they look
him
like
a good Christian upbringing.
Bill, man.
What happened?
I tanned his ass every day. He should have turned out just fine if it wasn't for that record.
Tanned his ass.
Because no kids committed suicide yet listening a Nirvana song.
Let's hope.
They're committing social suicide.
And this is so typical American. You never get that in Europe or in Germany.
Well, this is, I don't know, there's a lot of symptoms out there, like kids killing themselves, or people walking in McDonald's and blowing people away.
They're always killing people that don't deserve it, though.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna go kill a bunch of people, why not assassinate someone who deserves it? You know.
But they don't show that as like a symptom. They just say that's a problem, random act of violence. But maybe that's a symptom of the kind of country we live in, people's values. You know what I mean? I say they're all just fucked. I'll answer that question first off by saying that everybody's fucked, if you ask me. And then where do we take it from there? We're all fucked. All right, well, we've established something, some kind of criteria, like a base to where to get onto. Maybe we're all a bunch
And
of...
how are they fucked?
And how are they fucked? Well, I don't want to think about that because that just involves effort. You know what I mean?
Because then if I just waste my time thinking about it and we create some kind of dialogue about it for a while, then we'll just come back to the conclusion that everybody's fucked.
Everybody's fucked, you know. So we just have to take up smoking and live a leisurely lifestyle. You know, bomb some third world countries, walk into McDonald's and shopping malls with automatic weapons readily available.
Hey, if life gets too tough, just buy an AK-47 and walk into McDonald's. You'll feel better.
Yeah, because you hate Mondays. What's your favorite day of the week?
Fun?
What's your favorite day of the week?
I guess Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of the week. When's Friday, man? TGIF. Thank God it's Friday.
That's a good move.
Sunday, because it's just Sabbath, the day of the Lord. But if you're a Seventh-day Adventist, your Sabbath is on a Saturday, and they don't eat meat, by the way. And they seem like nice people. I don't know how preachy they get. So if I was to like subscribe to any kind of Christian dogma, maybe it'd be a Seventh-day Adventist.
I'd be a Jehovah Witness.
You'd be a hobo witness. Kurt's walking
hobo
around
witness.
peddling watchtowers. Hobo witness.
I'd be a Mormon.
Mormon.
By the way, who's that Francis Farmer who's going to have a revenge on Seattle?
What? What about
What
it?
denomination
Yeah.
was she?
What about it? Oh, you should read Dreamland by this PI reporter. I wrote this book about her. It's really good. She was, you know her story, don't you? She was an actress that she was kind of a foul-mouthed person.
What's a
you
poem
know,
she wrote?
and she hated the whole Hollywood scene, and she expressed her hatred for them publicly, and so, and she also, when she was like, I think she was 15, she entered this essay contest when she was living here in Seattle, entitled "God is Dead," and a lot of people accused her of being a communist. And then she went to New York and was a part of this acting troupe, and so it supposedly had communist ties too. And so then there's this big conspiracy amongst a judge, a very well-known, prominent judge here in Seattle, and a bunch of other people who had ties with Hollywood, and they basically just set her up and ruined her life. You know, they had some pictures taken of her when she was arrested for drunk driving, and it was a big, huge scandal, and she eventually was sent to a mental institution and given a lobotomy and raped every day for years, and just totally abused, and ended up like working at a Four Seasons restaurant alone and dying by herself.
There's
Still
a Bainbridge Island. That's where she was institutionalized, right over there. There's this whole broken down like infirmary there.
For years, every night there were lines of custodians, friends, and people, part of the staff who would wait in line to rape her every day. She went through a lot of shit. And it just disgusts me, to know that there are some of the people that are part of that conspiracy are living here in Seattle in their comfortable, cushy little homes with their families. And, it's 40 years after the fact, and it's just
Is it just God,
makes
not
me
a
want to
fair
kill
one?
him. Yeah.
And they're still
That's
living
what the
here
Christians
as good
say.
citizens.
God, why was there Auschwitz? Well, I'm a just God, not a fair one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why is there Lon Mabon? Oh, Ask St. Paul. He'll tell you all about it. He wrote this book called the Bible. I'm the little Jew that wrote the Bible.
Do you have already set a tour up?
Not for Europe, just for the States. We're going to take it one tour at a time. I mean, we definitely want to and plan to go over to Europe, in Japan, Australia.
It'll probably be probably January or something like that. We'll be in Europe.
I mean, touring must have changed for you quite a lot too. Suddenly being confronted with this giant machinery, a hell of a lot of people. I mean, when you play big venues, you need a hell of a lot of people and equipment and a real organization behind it.
Yeah, we used to drive around, just three guys in a van.
Yeah.
Haul
But,
gear.
compared to a lot of other bands that are on our scale, like we only have like a handful of roadies, people, and a tour manager and a helper for him. It's like a lot of bands that are bigger than us or as big as us, have like 50 people on the road with them. It's just a big, confusing, stupid thing that happens. We're still really down to earth in that area, and we may suffer for it a lot of times because we don't get things done. But oh well.
Save a lot of money.
It's just funner and simpler that way.
You could.
Yeah.
Having a family, did that change your attitude towards music at all?
Not towards the music.
But to the life combined with it?
That seemed that much more optimistic. I mean, I totally, I like having a family. It's fun. It's great. But, I'm so angry about a lot of other things, in life, so it doesn't really, stop me from being angry in music. It hasn't changed us very much.
Do you sometimes do you write together with your wife?
What?
Do you sometimes write together with your wife or create stuff?
Sometimes we usually, I wouldn't say it's really writing, it's just jamming, just playing together.
I think Royal Penny Tea.
What?
Royal Penny Tea.
Penny Royalty.
Penny Royalty.
Yeah. Well, they're covering that song. It's mostly my song, you know. But kind of just jammed on it together, and they want to record a version of it.
Okay, I'm gonna finish. Thanks a lot. How many more do you have to do today?
I don't know.